How important were Air Jordans in Oakland?
Very.
Come on.
Extremely.
Extremely?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
They're the reason I got a job.
What do you mean?
They're the reason I got a job. I wanted some Jordans, and my parents was like, you can't, well, you got to get them, and I got a job. And I've had one ever since.
If you look at the impact of Air Jordans in the Bay Area, what do you think was like the biggest Air Jordan ever?
The one, just because of the splash that it made, because it was kind of like you separated yourself a little bit when you had those Jordans.
Huh? You
You gonna really spend that much money on some tennis shoes? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's the first
It
time
kind of
tennis shoes
changed. It
cost
damn
that
near
much.
changed the landscape. Because I remember I had a close friend that I grew up with. He was like an older dude, you know what I mean? And in my neighborhood was like a lot of dope dealers, you know. And they always had money to buy all the fly kicks, but my homie he just did odd jobs and worked. You know what I mean? That was his thing. He just was always on his hustle trying to carry bags and mow lawns and just do all that. You know what I mean? But he stayed kind of dipped. And he was like the first person I ever seen with the Jordans on it. People was kind of like clowning, like, you got those are ugly. You know what I mean? But after a while, it just kind of caught on like wildfire. And it was like when you had those shoes on, it was like a status symbol. More than probably any other tennis shoe that I could think of that came before that. That first Jordan, like people that had them on, you kind of like separated the real from the fake, like, you know what I mean?
My first pair of Jordans was hand-me-downs from Tajay.
Oh yeah?
Because I was never, ever going to have a pair of Jordans otherwise.
Which were the ones?
You remember back then, I mean, he's much taller than me now. But we've been buddies since first grade.
Yeah, we used to be the same
and we was kind of like, he was like a half inch or 1 inch taller than me, maybe an inch and a half. So by the next year, I could always fit his shoes, and he took good care of them. So
They used to take care of your shoes, man.
yeah, I mean, shit, hell yeah. I mean, I used to take good care of my Pro Wings and shit. You know, but my first pair of Jordans was his hand-me-downs. And thank you, by the way, they had me dip that next year. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't old yet, like how it wasn't quick burnout yet. You could still rock them next year if they was good.
I remember having those, and my dad lived in Long Beach during the summer, and if you don't know, the C in LBC stands for Crip. Don't get it twisted. It's not city, it's Crip.
Okay.
And man, it was the year those came out. And I got shot at that year. I was rocking those
Really?
though. Man, because I had the red 505s, I had red, white, black Adidas, I was like, it's summertime, I'm about to wear all this stuff in the school year. Then I got to my birthdays towards the end of the school year. So I would be you get that first beginning of school shopping that don't be fitted the whole year until. So I was like, I'm gonna rock this stuff, man. It was bad. I lived in a Crip neighborhood. I'm talking about the neighborhood I lived in. If you wore Feelers, blue Feelers with the little red F, they still would sweat you, you know what I'm saying?
Really?
Though? And I had to be,
That red.
towards the end of the year, summer, it was like, oh yeah, he from Oakland, he cool. Like I went to Poly for summer school and everything. I mean, it was funny. I'm talking about, I live in a neighborhood where they lifting weights and got pit bulls.
The front
In the
yard.
front yard, next door, Oh, Lee Stall, little homie out, he from Oakland.